They said the walls of Constantinople could never fall, and they were very cocky about it. Like final boss level, cheat code enabled, impossible to lose, unbreakable. For 1,000 years, they stood against Persians, Arabs, Avars, Rus, Crusaders. But on the morning of May 29th, 1453, the impossible finally happened. One mistake, one opening, one bad day, and just like that, one of the longest-running empires in human history rage quit reality. What happened that day didn't just end a city, it ended an age. For over a millennium, Constantinople wasn't just a city, it was a legend. Perfectly parked on the Bosphorus Strait, it was the bridge between Europe and Asia, the gate where armies, caravans, merchants and ideas flowed between worlds. It was Rome's last living memory and the heart of Eastern Christianity. For centuries, the richest city in the Mediterranean, its domes glowing in sunlight. Its markets were stacked with riches from 3 continents. And its walls? People claimed only 2 things could bring them down: an earthquake or betrayal. Spoiler alert, it wasn't an earthquake, and by the 1400s, the vibes weren't great. The once mighty Byzantine Empire was reduced to a few suburbs and good memories. Population? Maybe 50,000 people, down from hundreds of thousands. But still, the citizens believed, because those walls had saved them every single time before. Meanwhile, outside the walls, a new power was loading in: the Ottoman Empire. And at the top, a 21-year-old sultan with main character energy, Mehmed II. This guy wasn't just ambitious. He was dangerously prepared. He spoke multiple languages. He studied math, engineering, and warfare for one goal: Constantinople must go down. And since childhood, he'd heard one prophecy on repeat:
Constantinople will be conquered. Blessed is the commander who conquers it.
He intended to be that commander. When Mehmed ascended the throne at 19, European rulers laughed him off. And 2 years later, he was planning the greatest siege of the century. Mehmed understood something crucial. The future of warfare belonged to gunpowder. So he hired a Hungarian engineer named Orban, a guy who first offered his services to the Byzantines. They turned him down. Why? They were broke. Worst financial decision ever. For the Ottomans, Orban built something absolutely unhinged. A cannon so massive, it needed 60 oxen to move it, 200 men to guide it, and a firing crew praying it wouldn't explode. It hurled a 600-kilogram stone ball over a kilometer, known as the Basilic. And the Byzantines called it the thunder that breaks mountains. Inside those cities stood Constantine the 11th. The final emperor of Byzantium, and he knew it. No backup armies, no miracle alliance, no secret reinforcements coming. But Constantine refused to leave. He didn't hide in a palace. He fought on the walls, carried stones, fixed breaches, encouraged soldiers face to face. Greek, Italian, mercenary, didn't matter. To them, he wasn't just an emperor. He was the guy who said,
"If this ends, it ends with us standing."
When Mehmed's armies arrived in April of 1453, they came in overwhelming force. Between 80,000 and 100,000 soldiers, janissaries, elite infantry, cavalry, irregular troops, a fleet locking down the sea. And inside Constantinople, about 8,000 defenders. Not ideal. Then the cannons fired, the ground shook, stone exploded, dust filled the air. For the first time ever, Constantinople's legendary walls started losing HP. The Byzantines fought fiercely, rebuilding walls by night and firing from the towers. Breaches patched with rubble, Greek fire scorching towers, and relentless counterattacks. But Mehmed pushed forward with relentless innovation. Then the Byzantines pulled a smart move. They blocked the Golden Horn with a massive iron chain. Ottoman navy? Locked out. Problem solved, right? But Mehmed did something no one thought possible. He looked at the chain, looked at the land, and said,
"We'll go around."
He had ships dragged over land, on greased logs, across hills. Hundreds of men pulling warships like it was a medieval Fast and Furious scene. The next morning, Constantinople woke up to enemy ships behind their defenses. It was a psychological blow the city never recovered from. By late May, food was gone, walls were barely holding, everyone was exhausted. Yet Constantine never wavered. By day he fought, by night he prayed in Hagia Sophia. Everyone knew if the city fell, it would fall with the emperor still standing. On the final night before the last assault, Constantinople was strangely quiet. The Ottomans held back their artillery, conserving gunpowder. Inside the city, people packed into Hagia Sophia, praying for a miracle. Others waited on the walls, saying goodbye without saying it out loud. That night, Constantine addressed his commanders. No speeches about victory, no false hope, and said,
"The city is lost, but I live and die with you."
That was it, the final words of the last Roman emperor. Before sunrise, hell broke loose. Cannons fired non-stop. Waves of soldiers charged. Smoke, screams, chaos. The defenders fought like legends. But then, at the Kerkeporter gate, a small door was left unsecured. Ottoman troops slipped in, raised their banner. Panic spread. The line collapsed. Constantine threw off his royal insignia and charged into the fight as a regular soldier. He was never seen again. By mid-morning, Constantinople had fallen. The fall of Constantinople sent shockwaves across Europe and the Middle East. 3 major transformations began. 1. The end of the medieval fortress. 2. A superpower was born. Constantinople became Istanbul, capital of a massive Ottoman empire controlling the Balkans, Anatolia, the Levant, and North Africa. 3. The age of exploration begins. Europe lost access to eastern trade routes. With the overland trade routes to Asia disrupted, European kingdoms sought new routes. This desperation helped ignite the great explorers such as Columbus, Vasco da Gama, and Magellan. The world map was about to change. All because one city fell. Today, Istanbul still stands between worlds. The ancient walls remain, not as a failure, but as the moment history changed direction. The fall of Constantinople wasn't just the end of Byzantium. It was the end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of everything that came next. If you enjoyed this cinematic deep dive into history's biggest plot twists, subscribe for more forgotten stories, insane moments, and the decisions that reshaped our world. Because history isn't dead. It's the backstory of the world you're living in right now.